the spatial action. Got it. But before I start, please allow me to just read a brief introduction, a kind of summary about what you have seen last session. I think most of people tried your best to do some exercises about it. I told you that the method that I used can be applied on different fields. I said, like, not only in transportation, but also in, let's say, business, in health, agriculture, etc. And for your efficiency, it's better that you start by exercising yourself to do some more.
Okay, brother Athans. Okay. Yeah. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, for the participants, if you have any questions for the last class, or if you have stuck on somewhere, you can ask Dr. Athanase and he will help to solve fast. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. Let's see the question. Oh, okay. Let's see them.
Yeah.
I see.
Before we go to the next class.
Yes, I see.
Okay, if you have any questions or if you have any problem, you can ask him.
Yeah, I'm checking some. Okay, let me check. If there's any question raised already, not yet. So I was saying, like, before I start this,
I'm hearing you.
If there's any question, please ask.
Do you have any question to Dr. Athans or any others?
I have not any question right now.
Okay, brother, please continue.
Okay, thank you so much. And as usual, before I start the new session, I usually start by a very brief, just a kind of simple summary about the previous lesson, so to make people in a mood of receiving new materials. So I think most of you have already ArcGIS. Then we can still use the data that we used last session. If I keep remembering, I shared my PPT and also some Nanjing and the shelf of Nanjing. Of course, if you have your own data, for example, data on COVID-19, data on business, data on transportation, data on any other field, you can still make some practice and using the same method. And let's share the ArcGIS. Wait for a while. I'm going to remove this one and then do the. Let's connect the this ArcGIS first, so that we move together.
I can see the screen and something went wrong.
Oh, let me share another one. Let me share another one. Maybe, hopefully we'll get it.
Yeah, I can see now.
Okay. Let me share a new one like this one. So I hope, like,
because some people didn't get the.
Do they have ArcGIS in the computer? All of them? Because I'm teaching in the same time we are making some practice. So it's better we move together. Then I may ask each and everyone who are participating on this session to open or the ArcGIS. And if you have any data that you want to use, just make it available. So all of you, please open your ArcGIS. And my short summary, or the summary about the last session, is about the tool that we used last time. We go in Arc Toolbox, of course, and then we focus on the last one, this one. Okay, if you open your Arc Toolbox, you see just the last one, this one, before last one, Spatial Statistics tool. So last time we tried to discover the importance of each of these tools from the hotspot, which is in mapping clusters. We started by analyzing the hotspot analysis with Getty's odds. And let's just make a very short exercise on this one so that you may get what we have seen last session. Let me first bring this shapefile of Nanjing that I shared, and then open the data, any data. I can even bring the one already done. Let's bring this data, this one. So assuming like you already have your area of interest, and then you have some data on which are already on the coordinate system. For my case, I told you that it is about the data of taxis in Nanjing. So it means that they are located. These are the track of taxis at any time, like 1 minute, 5, 10, 30. But I said this, don't think like this method is only applied on in transportation. No, this method is trying to prevent or to manage or to make a resilience of this COVID-19. So you can still use the same tools and same method to make your research on COVID-19 or on business or on agriculture. So for those who may be, let's say, who didn't follow well last time, let's just show up a little and then I'll move on. So let's see about this hotspot, just a kind of reminder before we move on. So the case here is about the data. The data are this already referenced. This one who are on loan and large. Then I just click on data. So now the concern is, the feed free, but actually this is about taxis. No problem. And I say like you have to save somewhere in your document, in your working directory. You can save. Just this is like says no problem. Any name. And then I say like here we have some methods about conceptualization and the spatial relationship, where some people prefer fixed distance, and I told you that you may read the details about each method on your right, as you can see on my screen. So I said like I usually use the two, either inverse distance or inverse distance squared. So let's use this inverse distance, and of course we keep Euclidean distance, this one Euclidean distance. So we ignore this one, distance bound or threshold distance, which is already mentioned as optional. Self-potential field, also this is optional, we can also ignore it. Then just move on, okay. No need to go to environment and wait for the process. So what are the expected results? The expected result is we are going to see the area where we have more, what you call hotspot, more, in this case, more taxis, maybe taxis with passengers aboard or without passengers, which will allow the driver to decide which place to go. This also can tell us about let's say the demand where people are gathered waiting for taxis. So this is the result. It is, we saw it, this is that last time. And the way it is presented, you see that, let me explore the details, the information about it. So this hotspot analysis allows us to see the hot and cold spot, specifically with the confidence level. So as you can see, let's start by the hot one. The red point means like hotspot with 99% of confidence level. So it means that in the place where we have red point, it is likely a place where we have more or taxis, or we have more people waiting taxis. So it means that this is the place where more people are moving for. So for policymakers, these are the main important place to focus on when you are planning your road network in your city. or when you are tracking anything in your country or your city. So as you can see, we have hotspot at 99% of confidence, and we have also hotspot at 95 confidence level, and we also have hotspot at 90 confidence. So you can check on your own exercise. No matter which data you are using, the most important is to use the data which are referenced, of course, with long and lat. Then you can check the hotspot, and I encourage you to download some data on maybe on COVID-19 and do the same exercise, and we'll be happy to see the place which is likely to get more people infected, or people maybe who are not vulnerable to COVID-19. So what about the code spot? Which is a kind of remind, because that's the time I took my time to explain this one. The code spot means the area where maybe where people asking for taxis are not many, where we can, let's say, count less taxis, either with passengers aboard or with no passengers. So in case you were doing the same research on COVID-19, so the code spot will be the place where people are safe, are somehow safe. Let's say somehow safe, not safe, but the place where you will get code spot, of course, at 90, this one means that this area, for example, not significant or with 90, means in case you are doing your research on COVID-19, and the place where you have this short, small point, or this gray point, it means that you have the code spot. So this area, if you are doing the health study, is not consent, it's not vulnerable to the to COVID-19, for example. So for my case, means this place is the place where we have lack of taxis, and of course, at a certain level, a confidence on 99, etc. So this was just about showing the hotspot, but we later on have seen about this optimization. This is very, very important. Let me review this one, and then I will move on about today's lesson. I do this because I assume like any student who attend this class will be able to apply the same method on his area of interest and on his sector, no matter which one. But the main point is the understanding. Why do I have to calculate or to locate the hotspot? Or why do I need to check the optimized hotspot? So now let's use the same gymnastics. Let's say optimized this one. Of course, we are using, I said like, no, not this one. No, this one, sorry. I have to use the initial data, yeah, data, of course, initial data, then use this one, means taxis, and then let's just, okay, let's just say okay, and I will check the result, just to remind you about the difference between the two when you display hotspot analysis and when you display optimized hotspot analysis. Which one may deliver good information in terms of locating either the phenomena or the disease or the rate of infection of COVID-19. So this is very, very useful tool for in health and business studies. So you practice and find this one is very helpful. So last time we saw that the hotspot will try to make something like optimized, means that if you try to see what was already shown, the optimized we will somehow make together some clusters to show either code spot or to show hotspot. So you see, let me untick this one. Okay, so now it means that we are focusing on the this is optimized. This is that. Okay. Let me untick this one. The data. Untick this one. Yes. Wait a while. I'm focusing on optimize now. This was the hotspot. So if you check on this one, the optimized, it took like some clusters and put together with the same component, the same features put together, a kind of optimization. The difference between the hotspot analysis, the simple one, and the optimized reside on the fact that for the optimized, it tried to put together some clusters and then show either that is the hotspot or the cold spot. So you can see that for this case, most of this area we have the cold spot at 99 of confidence level, while on this one I have red one. So you see easily the difference between the two. So above this one, I told you that for each of them, please, you may check other generated information here in properties. For each one, you can see that there are more information displayed there. Go into symbology, then come on this one, G bin. So you see, it displays the GI, z-score. The GI means the get is odd, as I told you. And the score, I told you that if you want to check well where you have more or the exact standard deviation, you can use the score. Or if you want to see the confidence or the probability, you can use this one, or the neighbor, nearest neighboring, use this one. So today's lesson is about just understanding the autocorrelation. The autocorrelation. So this was just about the summary of last class. This was the summary of last class. So we can move on a new let's say a new project about today's lesson. So today's lesson is about the average of nearest neighbor and spatial correlation. So returning on this one, let's keep together, put the, okay, let's bring again nudging, and then put the data. Any data, even I can even bring it from here. Let's make the same one, no problem. Someone's calling. Sorry. Yes, I said like now we are going to see to move on the new lesson about the average of nearest neighbor and the autocorrelation. These are very important in statistics. For example, for people who are making the study on the extension or the rate of COVID-19, this is also very important. So I started by this one last time and I said, let's jump it and start by hotspot. But today, I said we have to focus on this one so that we may understand what is going on with the average of nearest. So now we're still in the same tools. Go to the same tools, okay. Use this tool, this one, sorry. Okay, on these tools, we still focus on spatial statistics tools, and now just focus on first one, the analyzing of the patterns analysis of patterns, analysis of patterns. So which patterns are we going to analyze? We are going to analyze this average nearest neighbor, high-low clustering, increment, or spatial correlation, with distance, spatial autocorrelation. So what is about the nearest neighbor? Why do we have to calculate this one? Let's give you an example. For example, about if you are studying about COVID-19 rate, then this average nearest neighbor allow to locate where people are more vulnerable and where people are not really at risk of infection, of COVID-19 infection. So in case of transportation, as my case indicated, in my case, the average of nearest neighbor, we indicate where people are taking taxi as a means of transportation and where people are less people taking at a specific time. So let's go on it and discover more about it. Yes, and according to the understanding, we say like the nearest neighbor analysis measure the spread or distribution of something over a geographical space, This is very, very important. So it means that this allows us to see where maybe people are more at risk than other places. For my case of transportation, this will the taxi driver to where there is no passenger or where more people are heading to. Okay, then average of nearest neighbor. You can still check more details here, as I told you. And for example, they say like calculate a nearest neighbor index. First, we're going to calculate this one based on the average distance from each feature to its nearest neighboring features. So they try to give us some figures about how we can judge the near. So we make average of this point and then try to determine which is the most neighbor, or which is far. Then it is very simple. We just bring the data here, and then we are going to use to generate the report, and you can put the area where you want a numerical value representing the study area size. The default value is the area of the minimum enclosing rectangle that would encompass all features or all selected features. Units should match those for the output coordinates. So in case you are sure about the area of your study domain, you can put it. But since I'm not sure, let's just move on. Click on OK. And check down here on this side, check down here. It is processing now. And to deliver me a report, provide me a report. And the report will, you see, it already pop up here. And then let's check the details about it. So in details, we get, after running the average nearest neighbor, we got this report, and this report shows us most of some information about the nearest neighbor ratio. You can see this one, and the nearest neighbor z-score is given in negative, means that there is no the standard deviation about the neighboring is not too high. About the significance or p-value or probability of neighboring is 0, then the nearest neighbor expected are, you see. So it means that in my study, according to the data that I have, we can expect that 522 maybe in the same closer, maybe like in presenting a kind of cluster, even though they are not making a good, let's say a good cluster, but somehow they have some neighboring relationship. So it means that the way taxes are spread in Nanjing, in this city, the way taxes are spread, let's show that there is a high, let's say, a high probability or a high chance of neighboring, means that there is no space, no long distance between one tax to another, though we have some outliers down there. So in this result, we see also the report is here. Let's ignore the report and go down in the message. Have been executing the average nearest neighbor data using the gradient distance, and then this is the time. Then what is very important is this one. This information, of course, here. Average nearest neighbor summary. This is very important. You have to catch this one. So this, according to this report, you can go to the mean distance. So it means that this mean distance is in meters because my system is already set on meters. So pay attention before you start this kind of work. Make sure you are using the meters or in your system, because it will be applied like in let's say in MMT. Then make sure to change it in meters. So this observed mean distance means 58.57 meters. So it means that there's a probability to get at each 58.5 to get a taxi. Either a taxi is a passenger aboard or no passengers looking for a client, but this is like a mean average. So it means that according to the data that I have been displaying, this data, the conclusion is like for each 58.57 meters, there's a probability to get another taxi. Yeah, it means that on this side, we can, if you are a driver, a taxi driver, you can then decide which place to go. It means that here, there are more taxis looking for passengers, you see. So in case you are not sure about maybe the people are waiting, or in case you don't want to pass where are the more taxis in cloud, so you can decide where to go on the map. And I said already, this is the expected mean distance. So this is the observed, but this is expected. So why this is too high? You have to understand this. As I told you in the last session that to display a map is not enough, but what is very important is to succeed to make explanation of the map. So why this one? I have observed mean distance and expected mean distance. So the difference between the two values is the first one is the observed, okay, but the second is the expected. Why this is too high? It is because if you go to the map, come to the map, go to the map and look at it. Look at this map. Sorry. Look at this map. So why the expected is too high? It is because they made average of these. You see, they have been averaging all. So in observed, assume in observed here, only between one taxi to another, there's a space or a distance of 58 meters. However, the expected mean distance is the one that has been applied on the whole steady domain. Then that's why it is too high, 522. It is because they have even put this out here, you see. So we have the taxis in cloud here, very dense on this place. But you see that down there, we have just one point, 2 points. So meaning that if they average this one, so the distance will be high. So it is mathematical, understandable, since we know what the mean means. The mean means. Okay, so about the same result, let's keep on analyzing the result, making interpretation of the result still to see what is generated again by this average nearest report. Okay, where is it? Down there. No problem, I can open it again. Don't worry, I can still open it. I can still open it on this side. Okay, can open it. No problem. It's down there. Okay, okay, I saw it. Okay. Wait, this one. Yes. Yes. So I said like, okay, why do we have, I have already explained this. Then the nearest neighbor ratio. So please focus on these three. The observed mean distance, the expected mean distance, and nearest neighbor ratio. So comes the z-score and the p-value. Okay, down there, no problem, but let's check about the report file. So I told you that at every process, you will get the results. So check this HTML, this one, and then discover how your results are expected to be explained. So in case we have the significant value, let's say significant value, you can check on this one, and the critical value where we are analyzing the z-score, you can see the way it is varying, and still you see in the same we have the report. So this is the most important. So assuming that you are working on COVID-19, maybe outbreak studies, and then you want to know maybe in terms of your village or in terms of your country or your province, how many people are been able to COVID, or how many people are just exposed on COVID, or to see the distance, and then maybe decide to put people in lockdown or to let people move to get free. So this is observed mean distance, and expected mean distance will help you to do such kind of analysis. So that's why I told you last time, before I come to this step, let's first analyze the hotspot. So since you saw the importance and what the hotspot means, then this can help you also to decide what, or to make a decision, or to make some
Hello.
On policy makers. Yes.
Sorry for the interruption. We cannot see your report file, HTML file.
You go to the lost. Okay.
Report HTML file, we cannot see.
Oh. Okay.
We can see only a GIS software window.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let's see. So you don't see the result that I was explaining, the result. So the result that I was explaining, I got them from geoprocessing, and then result. So don't you see this result? This one? Don't you see this one? This is
Yeah. You can see.
Yes. I was explaining about this result, and I was saying, like, because since this time most of people are focusing on COVID-19 outbreak studies, that in case you've already determined the hotspot, where we have more people who are affected, or where we have the high rate of people affected by COVID, you can then analyze the average nearest neighbor. This average nearest neighbor will then help you to decide whether the COVID is serious, and then say, like, if in terms of this distance people is affected, then let's maybe put people in lockdown. Or if the distance is if the hotspot is cold spot and the expected mean distance is very high, then you can decide, like, okay, in this region the COVID-19 is not serious, that's why I said, first of all, make interpretation of hotspot, and also you can analyze optimize the hotspot to see in terms of confidence level where we have more cases, and then the average nearest neighbor comes just to help you to make like a assumption about in terms of distance. Yeah, remember that we use the Euclidean distance. In terms of distance, about one each point. Point means people or means taxis in my case. So I said like there is a report file. When you open this report file, I'm going then to share this report file. Maybe this one didn't see this one. Let me share the report. Let me share the report, and then so that you get to see what I was talking about. The report, yeah, the report is this one. So the report I was talking about is this one. This is also the report which is generated. So just it gives the same information, the main information, this one. And in case you have displayed in terms of hotspot, still this one shows you the significance or the critical value or the z-score. So actually in this average nearest neighbor, we just focus on the observed mean distance and on expected mean distance. Then nearest neighbor ratio, this also may count, but this is helping you maybe to decide. So I said in case, let's even talk about other business. Assume that you are doing the study on business, and then you have been making investigation of all coffee shop, let's say coffee shop, and then for the whole country or for a whole city, then display a map like this, and then in that map you will you plan to implement your own coffee shop, and you can use this method to see the hotspot and then to see the average nearest neighbor and the expected. Then you can locate where is favorable to implant, to install your shop, your coffee shop. So that's why this is important. I say like this method, this statistical analysis method, even though I use the transportation example, can be applied in any other field, specifically in health and in business. Even, specifically. Okay, I was just, this is the HTML report. You see that it also focuses on this, but the same, this image just up here can also help you to understand the hotspot and the clusters and the optimized hotspot. Okay, let's share again my ArcGIS. Let's share again ArcGIS. So to ArcGIS again, okay. Yeah. Yes. So let's come on my data. So I said since my data are sparse, then when you do the mean, especially the expected mean, you may get a high value. But for observed, we saw that we still have not too high. So this was about average of average nearest neighbor. Let's this one have already seen yesterday, the high and low clustering. I think we can have a look at it. About still free. This one means let's also generate the report. So let's analyze in terms also after displaying the average nearest neighbor. Let's have a look on low or high and low clustering. Of course, this will give us results like the one we have discovered yesterday, but let's have a look on it. Let's still use the inverse distance. Okay, let's see, it is processing here. It's processing. It is processing here. Processing down here. Processing. So we are going to also, after seeing how average nearest neighbor is presented, then let's have a look on the way the clusters appear. High and low clusters, of course, using the Gettys odd GI, the same method that was invented or proposed by this guy, Gettys, the same as Hotspot. So let's wait for it to process and then analyze the output. Yeah. So I can tell you, if you use this net tool in your study, especially in health and transportation and the business, you will get good result, and you will, if you succeed to give good explanation, I can assure you that you will be happy, because this one show generation in terms of space, because we are dealing about data on coordinate systems which are already on georeferenced. Then the data that we are treating here, this or the information about the patterns, either the average nearest neighbor or either the high-low clustering, all of them are played in terms of distance. As you saw in the method applied, there was the Euclidean distance. So it means that whatever we are going to get as a result, it comes in terms of distance, because we are analyzing the relationship between two value or two objects. Yeah, it is already done. Let's check the info. This one is already done. Okay. Unfortunately, it gives more warning. Maybe it didn't succeed well, but don't worry. Let's check. You see, compared to the average nearest neighbor, this one, the score is somehow high. So let's ignore the report and see what is given down. It is generally so it doesn't show us the distance, but it's just focus on the standard deviation and the probability or confidence level. Maybe it's because we go to more warning. Distance for geographical coordinations, degree, minute, second are using Coral distance in meters. Yes, I know. Meters, yes, I know. It is already in meters. Let's check the report, maybe. How the report look like. So in terms of report, you see this one, we generate the information which are quite not the same like the ones we got from the average nearest neighbor. You see that here we get a kind of row clusters, random and high clusters. So of course, this is general summary, the one you saw, right? The one you saw. This is not enough. This is not enough. If you are not convinced by the result, you can see checking. Before I go to this one, let's autocorrelation. So to understand what is the autocorrelation and why do we have to calculate the autocorrelation. Let's see it somewhere in my notes. I will share the PPT. What is spatial autocorrelation? Spatial autocorrelation is an assessment. Please take note. Spatial autocorrelation is an assessment of the correlation of a variable in reference to spatial location of the variable, which is a match between location similarities and attribute similarities. according to Cliff, 1973. So what is the importance of correlation in statistical analysis? This more one. This will allow us to assess the correlation of variable in reference, of course, to spatial location of the variable. Then we see one which are matching with some similarity and attribute similarity. This is very important. I think this study, this method can be very good in business. If you are conducting a study on business, please don't forget to use this method to see the autocorrelation. So why, in my concern, as I was using the data on transportation, why did I choose to target the spatial autocorrelation? Just because I saw like with the hotspot, I saw that some places present spot, while others present cold spot. Of course, at different confidence level. Then I've seen even like they are in terms z-score or standard deviation, or in terms of p-value or probability or confidence, there are some information maybe missing, or maybe I got a hotspot, but I see there is a high or low standard deviation, or the probability is low. Then the autocorrelation will allow me to see the relationship between each point to another. So in my case, I was analyzing the taxi transportation in this town, Nanjing. Then these are my data. Of course, I told you that I just took a little because it was huge data. Then, is there any relation between the presence of one taxi to another? So it is like, I want to check whether where I have more taxis, there's something in common of them, a correlation. Maybe they have some maybe that place, as I told you last time, maybe it is, let's say, the garden park, or maybe it is a shopping mall, or maybe it is the train or metro station. So at those places, we have more, we have the hotspot. More taxis, more taxi drivers are heading to those places. Why? So there is an autocorrelation between one taxi to another, because maybe they have the same focus, they have the same target. All of them are looking for passengers, and then all of them knows like that place we have like a 100 chance to get a client, get a customer, to get a passenger. So there's a why in some areas we have hotspot, while in other area we have low spot. So that's why we are going to analyze the autocorrelation. Then I haven't finished yet. They say like in statistics, this Moran's one is autocorrelation method is measuring the spatial autocorrelation and show the signal among nearby locations in space. So it means this method will enable us to see the relation between one and another. And I try to explain in my understanding, and according to the reality on the ground, where more taxis are heading are the places where more people are waiting for transportation, especially on train station, metro station, shopping mall, let's say park, places like, or touristic sites. So on places like those ones I've already mentioned, you may find that we have more taxis, specifically in this downtown. So is there any correlation between the taxi here and taxi here? No, but in this area, they may have a correlation where one may influence another. So if some drivers are clever, maybe they choose where they see the hotspot. Why? they think like in those places they has a chance to get a percentage. While the code I've already removed the hotspot. Where in the code hotspot, only few people go there unless someone has made the command. And that is, even for some people who are in Nanjing, when you are located far from maybe the downtown, you can even order the taxi or the Didi, and the driver will tell you, I'm sorry, I cannot come in that area, I'm sorry. So it means that why he say, I'm sorry, he's not going to pick you. It is because he has been consulting the map, and then so where there's a probability of getting more customs, then decide. That's why there is a why the correlation between one driver and one driver. Why this driver prefer to go where he see there are more taxis? Why doesn't he choose to go in a place where there aren't taxis like this place? Why? So this is what we do when we are making such kind of studies, and mostly when we are delivering explanation. The same can be the same method can be applied in other sectors. So let's see the result about it. Spatial correlation model, autocorrelation model 1. What it does, it measures spatial autocorrelation based on features, location, and attribute value using the global model 1 statistics. So you can access the results of this tool, including the optional report file, of course, from the results window. If you disable background, yes, this is like the kind of some example they show where they say like this is in the space area and in cluster area, how is the autocorrelation, what is the rate of autocorrelation. Then the input data, we just put our data, this one, and then we can input the field. I say this 3 is the taxi, even though I use different one, and we are going to generate a report. So conceptualization of spatial relationships. I told you that we have more method in this, but I usually choose the first one, the inverse distance. Inverse distance means what? It means that nearby neighboring features have a large influence on the computation for a target feature than features that are far away. That's why I choose this one, because I assume like in the algorithm which is set up by this guys, spatial autocorrelation tool, it may show the influence on the computation of a targeted point features which are far. So the relation between one point to another will be shown in this case. So I prefer to use inverse distance. And of course, I said like as we are dealing with the distance, let's keep the Euclidean distance. There's another one which is Manhattan distance, but I've never used this one. I prefer to use, of course, the Euclidean method. Euclidean method. I usually like that one. So Euclidean method. Then I'm not going to use standardization or row standardization. Let's see what they are talking about this. In case you choose none, no standardization of spatial weight is applied. So, but in case you use row, spatial weight are standardized and weight is divided by its row sum. So let's just keep none. And in case you want also to get more details, you can also put the distance band or threshold. You can your own decide about the distance band or the threshold distance, which is also helps you to specify a cutoff distance for inverse distance and distance option. So in this case, when you indicate the distance, the band, the threshold, it means that you want to specify the cutoff of distance between the inverse distance and the fixed distance option. And in this case, feature cutoff for target feature are ignored in analysis for the feature. So that's why I sometimes I didn't put anything here. I just apply OK. I just apply OK. Apply OK. And then it is processing down here. Now I'm going to look to autocorrelation, the main values that I get from the report. Yeah, to see is there any autocorrelation between the presence of this taxi and this taxi here. Why we have hotspot in this place? In my understanding, taxi may not be so crowded here. They may go spread across the entire city, but why in some places we see same taxis, the taxis in a huge number? Because it's a kind of autocorrelation between one and another. So they have, as I can say, same target, same mind. Because in a town like Nanjing, each driver has an online map that shows him where we have more people waiting for taxis, or the place where we have more taxis, and the place where there's a crowded or there's a traffic jam. Then, but why you see there in some places there are more taxis, more taxis. It means that there's something a relation that join one taxi driver to another and to put them to be seen in one area in a huge number. If you just analyze the map, you may ask a question: why taxis are here? Of course, this is the downtown, but still here, this town also, this town. Why in this place no taxis? And of course, here are the place where it is not easy to get access. In my understanding, we may get more taxis in this kind of places, like this place or this place. But why still we have a huge number of taxis in the central business district, this one, CBD? Okay, it is done. The spatial autocorrelation more than one is done. So as I told you, you can either open it from the popped up down here, this one, or you can just go to your processing, then consult the result. Yeah, it has gone, but you pop to 1 or 2 minutes, 1 minute, I think. So just come here, simply come to your processing, then open the result and check the result. You can see the current is, we did the spatial autocorrelation more than one, of course. The index is 0.7, so it means that has been succeeded because since we have 0.1, the z-score, this is in terms of z-score, which just express the standard deviation in brackets, may be high. And let's go down, check this information about the observed general G. This G is like in your case the autocorrelation, because this G is gated and odd. This observed G 0.003 expected. Then we see it is not too far. The z-score is also given again. P-value, we have 0 and variance we have 0. So in terms of autocorrelation, we can see that the observed autocorrelation is not high. It is low. It is low because the autocorrelation is between -1 and 1. -1 and 1. So in case you have, I will share the PPT where I mentioned that rule. So observed autocorrelation general G, we see that we got 0.000327. So it means that it is positive, but still it is low. So according to this result, maybe the previous assumption may not be true. say complex because either they are sure at that place they get more people, more passengers, or another is because maybe they get passengers from short distance because some drivers like to take people to short distance than the long distance. That's why in downtown we have more taxis. So this is the observed autocorrelation. It is positive, but not too high. Of course, the expected general also autocorrelation is also very low. So explanation we have taxis in case. And then, is there any correlation? So before you write down about the autocorrelation, it's better to run up this autocorrelation and then check this result, this one. So you see that it is, of course, there is a correlation. Of course, there is a correlation, but it is not high. It is not high. As I told you, we measure the autocorrelation between -1 and 1. So in case it can be a negative autocorrelation, it can also be a positive autocorrelation. So in case it is a negative correlation and it is higher to up to 1, it means there is no correlation in that case. But there's a negative correlation. So in case of positive case, like this result, like our result, it means that according to my data, according to my study, there is a positive correlation, but it is not high because the highest autocorrelation is 1 plus 1 is 1. So you see, I have just 0.00327. The meaning is like there's a positive correlation, but not too high. Like it is, let's say, like it is relatively high, not high. Yeah. So in your study, let's make people understand this point. Assuming you do your analysis on COVID-19 outbreak in your region or your country, you can also check if the infection, the number of people affected by COVID-19 or who are tested positive of COVID-19, there is any autocorrelation between these people, autocorrelation. So you can check if the presence of many people infected can also affect the rate or the increase of in terms of number of people affected. So in case you do you connect this kind of study in a business study. So assuming the example I gave you, if you are studying the Starbucks or the coffee shop in your town, and you want to see the way they are spread across your town, so you can also use this also correlation to see if there is any correlation between the implantation of one shop here and another here. Is the choice. This may give you an idea on the choice of people to implant to establish the coffee shop in this place, in that place. So that's why in this kind of studies in transportation, in health, and in business, we can still make analysis of the autocorrelation. And as a reminder, the autocorrelation is helping us to assess the correlation of different variables in terms of space in location. So to see if there's any similarities between two or many attributes or many objects studied. So in my case, I think I made understandable this part that we focus more on this observed general G, which is the observed correlation, and this one is the expected. And I said this is a positive correlation. To mean that we have a positive correlation, but it is low. It is low because the highest one is one. Yes, this was about correlation. Let's check the report. Don't forget to check the report. This is the report which will come in HTML. I think you will not see it. It can also show you how the autocorrelation varies according to the either we have some low clusters, random, or high clusters. So it means that the autocorrelation may vary from either the place where we have low clusters or in the place where we have a kind of random spread, or let's say data with many or high outliers. And the correlation is autocorrelation is also high when we have high clusters. Yeah. And the way it appears may be different from one study to another. So that was about the autocorrelation. We are, of course, analyzing the statistics tools in analyzing patterns. Then we have seen the average nearest neighbor. Then we saw spatial autocorrelation morons. Then I said we can also have a look on the incremental spatial autocorrelation. What this one means. Incremental spatial autocorrelation, this you see, we focus also on the, in terms of distance, how the autocorrelation appear. And of course, let's say about, if maybe we assume we put a threshold of 100 meters, or no, let's say 50 meters, what is the probability of autocorrelation may appear here? So let's have a look on the incremental spatial autocorrelation. Incremental spatial autocorrelation. Let's have a look on it. So what does this one help us to do? The incremental spatial autocorrelation measures spatial autocorrelation for a series of distances and optionally create a line graph of those distances and the corresponding discourse. So not this one. It means that it also measures the spatial autocorrelation, or it can measure a series of distances and it can optionally create a line graph or those distances and the corresponding z-score. And as we have seen, the z-score reflect in this time, the z-score will reflect the intensity, not the standard deviation. So in this case, the z-score will reflect the intensity of spatial clustering and statistically significant peaks, z-score. The distance where spatial process promoting clustering are most pronounced. These peak distances are often appropriate value to use for tools with a distance band or distance radius parameter. So take note of this. So this one, if we compare to the result that we can get from the or the spatial autocorrelation, simple or local one, or global spatial autocorrelation, the incremental spatial autocorrelation will help us to give like the correlation between, of course, the series of in terms of distance, but this the z-score that will be generated in this case can help us to make a kind of curve or present a, let's say, the way this value, the autocorrelation may vary from one to another with a certain increment. Yeah, this one, and the we will have the peak that will be generated. So what are the input features? So input features, we still bring our data here as an input feature. And then let's input also the field. Let's input the field. This one means the taxes according to the one I shared with you. So number of distance bands can vary. Let's see what it means. The number of distance bands is the number of times to increment the neighborhood size and analyze the data set for spatial autocorrelation. The starting point and size of the increment are specified in the beginning distance and distance increment parameters respectively. So in here we see that the number of distance band here put 10. Let's just keep 10. Maybe I will increase or let's put this one. No, 12. Let's keep 10 first. Let's keep 10. Here I'm reducing and increasing. Let's keep 10. Yeah, let's keep 10. So beginning distance optional. Let's maybe see what they want us to do. The distance at the beginning distance means that the distance at which to start the analysis of spatial autocorrelation and the distance from which to increment. So here we can decide either to put the distance, just the increment or the threshold that we can use to show I want to calculate the autocorrelation between from maybe let's say from 20 meters to 100 meters. I would like to see the autocorrelation between all the taxis who are on the road, either with passengers or without passengers aboard. Yeah. So here it means that you specify, you put like an increment from the beginning, and then you say like I would like to correlation between maybe all the cars or the taxis that will be in this area. So in case I also come to some feed, in case you are conducting a study on COVID-19 outbreak, in that case, and you want to use this incremental spatial autocorrelation, you can set maybe also in terms of distance in your city. If maybe you want to see the autocorrelation, why in this place more people are affected. Let's check maybe in a town where people are living in very crowded houses, where houses are close to each other. Let's say like let's see the correlation between the people living in a compound of maybe 10 to 200 meters, and see then the correlation in that compound in terms of distance. So we can either choose to put beginning distance or put the increment. So the distance increment, what it does mean, it means like it increases after each iteration. Like, of course, it is an increment. So after each iteration, it means that there is an increment. Let's say I want to check the autocorrelation after 50 meters. So it is on the road, let's say the highway. Then taxis have been tracked there. So I say like, let's see at each 100 meters if there's any correlation between these two. Are they still have the same speed, or are they taking away for another destination? So just to see the correlation, but you see, the base of all is to set this increment. It is optional. We can avoid it in this case. Output table, maybe I can decide to have a table somewhere. Let's go to day 2. Table here, maybe table. I wanted to see a table of the summary of information and the output report, of course. Then I want the output report here. I want the report here. Let's say the report here. The report here. Oh, I'll get a file, a PDF file. Yeah. So let's see. Then I have put the data. I put the field. This is the taxes. Yeah, of course. And then I put the number of distance bound. let's say 50, maybe. 50, okay. No, it is too much, maybe 29 can accept, okay. Yeah, let's see 30, okay. Yeah, 30 also can accept. So let's click on OK and see the output. Let's wait for the output now. While it is processing, I'm still reminding you that this is the incremental spatial correlation, which will help us to see in terms of the relation between the features, but can generate also a kind of key or a function showing maybe where we have in terms of increment where there is a high autocorrelation and what is a low autocorrelation, because according to the previous analysis on autocorrelation, maybe we saw that the observed autocorrelation and expected autocorrelation were not the same. So in case maybe we have such a kind of data like this one, maybe if with the increment, we may get, let's say, information details about the autocorrelation. Maybe we found in case of clouded area, the autocorrelation is high, whereas in the area where we have, let's say, sparse features or taxes, the autocorrelation is low. Yeah, the same in business. In case you are doing give you some also similarities in other fields, not only transportation. So in case you are doing with business, this incremental, maybe in your city, you have already, you are making a study on the presence or the implementation of coffee shop or any other thing you want to analyze, and then you can set the analyze the hotspot, the way they are spread in your city, where we have called spot and hotspot, and you can make the optimization and to see the way they are spreading in the over the space. And then after that one, you can also check the average neighboring nearest neighbor to see the relation, the meters distance, the observed distance, and the expected distance, which will give you an idea of where maybe to imprint new ones, or maybe according to the population, or according to the need of the population. But this incremental spatial correlation will give you more details also about in terms of increment. Then you give a certain distance, and they say, let me observe maybe the presence of shop coffee within a space of maybe 5 kilometers, and then at each 5 kilometers, this incremental spatial correlation will show you the autocorrelation. Then it will present a kind of curve or a line function that will present you some peaks to show either high autocorrelation or relatively high or low autocorrelation or non-autocorrelation or negatively low or negatively high autocorrelation. So we are still waiting for the result. It is still processing. Yes, it is still processing. Yeah, and I encourage you guys to look for data, either for guys who want to work on COVID-19, look for COVID-19 data across your country or across your city or across your region, and then try to do the same analysis using this spatial statistical tool. You will even understand why the government takes some measures. They don't take some measures by hazard. There are some these specific works or studies led them to take some measures. So as I said, when you are analyzing the average nearest neighbor, and found that there's a probability to get people, more people affected or infected by COVID-19 in such long, short distance. Then the following measure is to put people in lockdown. Yeah, you see, yeah, that's why this statistical tools is very important. It helps this our leaders and the policymakers to take some decisions. Yeah, this they can lead their mind to take decisions. My autocorrelation incremental is taking too long, but it's okay. Let's wait for it. And I told you, in case you are not seeing this incremental spatial autocorrelation. Now, let's say in case we are not seeing the process here down here, don't be in hurry or just impatient. Go and check in your processing and result. It is up there on the bar menu up, your processing, then result, and check this one. You see this one. Check this sign. This means it is processing. This sign means it is processing. Yes. This means it is still processing. So don't interrupt your the process. If you are not seeing the process down here, like it is on my computer, if you are not seeing it like it appears on my computer, don't be in hurry. Go into processing result and look at this symbol. If it presents, it appears like this, it means that it is still processing. Then you have to wait until this symbol disappears. Then deliver you the full information. So you can have a look on what it is doing. You see that it is going to show us the first peak and the max peak. So it is still processing. Then it will show us this peak. So let's wait for it to process, and let's hope it will be successful. So to see how it may let's say it may help to understand or to explain the spatial correlation already seen. Yes. So I remind you that we still analyzing the patterns using different methods from the average nearest neighbor, the high-low clustering, incremental spatial correlation, and we also see the multi-distance spatial clusters analysis. Yeah, today we just work in these patterns, analyzing of patterns. This is very useful, especially I encourage people who are working on in health or in hazard. Yeah, in hazard, when you are just assessing maybe the people who are at risk, who are risky, or people who are, let's say, who are vulnerable to, let's say, to one disaster, then you can analyze the patterns using this one to see that people affected by the tsunami or affected by any pandemic or affected by any, let's say, earthquake, etc., etc., etc. Then this will be very, very helpful. Yes, yes. And still note that the autocorrelation, why do we have to use autocorrelation? I may remind you that the autocorrelation is not analyzed in most of the field. No. Sometimes we don't need to see if there's any autocorrelation. Maybe we see a simple correlation of things. But in this case, auto means to each there is a correlation, a relationship with itself and another one, autocorrelation. So this autocorrelation will be more valuable in some fields like health, transportation, and business, where we can see if there is any high autocorrelation or low autocorrelation, and then judge in case it's transportation, as my work did, to guide policymakers to maybe to innovate, to make innovation, or to spread, or to delocate, let's say, some services according to the results that is they got from the average nearest, the hotspot, and the spatial autocorrelation. Yeah. And at the same point, why it is C processing, I can mention that at each process, when you succeed to display your data, don't be in a rush to just to present your data. No, it's not. Yes, of course, we need. Sometimes we need a map, or sometimes we need just some information, like the report that we got from the average nearest neighbor and high-low clustering and the incremental sparse autocorrelation. So in that case, it's better to check more than one method. It's better. And as you remember, when we saw last session on Sunday, I showed you the way. Of course, you can check the hotspot, but since in hotspot the GI generates also the G Z-score and the G p-value and the G nearest neighbor. The information to be sure of what you are trying to explain. Otherwise, you may get a result and then just jump on and okay, I saw this is not good. Just go forward and just go in deep and look at the other method to see other variable also, and then compare which one may be consistent. I still remember that when I showed you the Z-score, I used the interpolation from the geostatistical analysis tool, and I used the inverse distance weighted. And then you saw like, though the hotspot was clear, where we have more taxis, either with people about or no people about who didn't care about it, that was another far studies. We saw that the Z-score just let's say showed other secret about what was already said. Yeah, it's done now. Let's check the incremental spatial autocorrelation. I will come on it again. It is done, and for people who were following, I told you that you check the job processing, then come to result. Then in result, you see now the symbol has disappeared. Don't worry about this this sign. This just it is like incremental spatial correlation. Then first peak, you see, we got the peak and max peak. So what is here? Let's see. The two seem to be equal. Let's open this output report. Let's open it. This one. Let's open this table or DBF table. Can open it with Notepad. Let's see if it can be opened. No, I should not open another. So you see, I'm sorry. Yeah, you see the table that I got from the incremental spatial autocorrelation. I got a table on the table showing the increment. You should remember that I set the increment, no, the distance of 30. Then from 30, maybe at each increment, I got this event from field one. No, field one should be the taxis. More than one, and also the variance. Let's check if there are other information. I think there are more information here. Let's check. Okay, let me open it with this one, DBF. I should open it with. Let's see if I can open in another way. At least, no. I just want to maybe to open with another tool or another problem. Maybe let's save it. Let's save it first. Let's save it somewhere, and then I'll be opening with table 1 PDF, of course. Okay. There. Okay. Let me open Excel. Maybe see if I can display it. Excel. Then yes, Excel. Then let's go to open that one. Go to open my PC and then choose the browser. Let's come to D, and then training activities, then training statistics, then day 2, or then the table. Yes. As the read one work, use the suspan and table. Okay, let's see. Oh no, it's not coming. It's okay, don't worry. I will see how to handle this one. Don't worry, I will see how to handle this issue later on. Yeah, let's close this one. Okay. Yeah. Of course, so that there are more information about it, about the variance, etc. In the table, you can check more information. You can still check the p-value. You can still check. Sorry. The expected DF, etc. So we have more information. So this is additional information that we can get, and then can help us to just to monitor and to explain what we have been what we have seen in the autocorrelation itself. So let's just view this report. That was the output table, and then let's see the output report in PDF. This is very important. Check this one. This is then very interesting. This is now the incremental spatial correction, which show in terms of distance in meters, and the z-score. In this case, so that this score is not the standard deviation, but this score is a. Let's go and check. I don't want you to be confused. I want you to follow and understand what I'm doing. Let's go there again so that you may understand what is this score. This score. Yeah. So here. So we saw like incremental spatial autocorrelation measures spatial autocorrelation for a series of distances and optionally create a line graph of those distances and the corresponding z-score. Here in that case, in our case, z-score reflects the intensity of spatial clustering. You see, z-score here is just not showing like the standard deviation as we used to say for previous session, but in this case, in incremental spatial autocorrelation, the z-score will or is reflecting the intensity of spatial statistically significant p z-score indicates the distance where spatial processing promoting clustering and are mostly pronounced. This, take note of this. Yeah, this score reflects the intensity of spatial clustering and statistically significant peak. This score indicates distances where spatial process promoting clustering are mostly pronounced. So this is like the distance where the clustering are pronounced. Okay, let's check our report. Yeah, this one. Oh, let me unzoom this one. You don't see the report. Let me share the report. I want to share the report. Maybe you don't see that report. Let me, okay. I want to share the report. I want to share the report. Where is it? Report. This
Sir,
one.
we cannot see your screen.
Yeah, I want to share the report. Yeah, this one. Do you see it? Can you check it now? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually the report that I got from the incremental spatial autocorrelation. This is the report that I got. Then I try to explain about this one. So I say like this score that is shown here is giving the is reflecting the let's say the relation in terms of distance in meters. So on the this x-axis we have distance in meters. So 22,500 means like 22 kilometers, 23 kilometers, 23,500 kilometers, 24 kilometers, 24,5 kilometers. So it means that like this is a simplified report of the incremental spatial correlation led over the city Nanjing, and then you can see that at a distance of 22 kilometers and the 5 kilometers, we have a kind of 28 meters of increment. We have this kind of correlation. See, that is varying. So they appear when we have mostly, let's say, 22 and maybe 7, let's say, 600 meters, 22 kilometers and 600 meters. So there we have a peak, the peak. You see the peak there? The peak is the peak. This means we are likely to get a high autocorrelation, So you can analyze this report, this incremental spatial autocorrelation in terms of kilometers on axis, and then on the z-score, which was like the distance where spatial process promoting clusters are most pronounced. So it means that at this level, let's say at 30 meters, it is in terms of meters, we are likely to get more taxis. It means that when in the city of Nanjing, there is a positive relation between the increment and the distance. So you see at 30 meters, especially when we move to a distance of more than 22.6 kilometers, where we have the peak, you see there's a decreasing. The more we have to go for a long distance from the, let's say the point of depart or beginning, the less the correlation is high. You see, it is decreasing. So if we come to our figure, let's explore our figure again to understand what is the result is meaning. Let's have a look on this on the data I used. You saw that some taxis were located either in the northern part, others in southern part, like outliers. While in center, in the central business district in CBD of Nanjing, we have like crowded of taxis. So this incremental spatial autocorrelation then will help us to see in terms of autocorrelation and the distance between features. So you see, the more we travel for a long distance, the more the probability, the autocorrelation is getting lower and lower. So where more taxis were crowded is where there is a high correlation. And the more we go far away, the more the autocorrelation is decreasing. So you see that this incremental spatial autocorrelation is also very important when you are making your research. So down there, we have also information about distance, and we have also information about the Morans 1 index. So the Morans 1, Morans means the autocorrelation index. And then you see, we have also expected index, then the variance, and of course the z-score. Z-score, as I already reminded, is coming here in terms of clustering over distance, okay? And then p-value. Of course, in this case, p-value is 0, so we are not looking at p-value actually. We are more interested in distance and z-score, and of course, the Morans index to get idea on the autocorrelation. So that was the report shared. I think most of you guys saw the report. Down there we have also the global Morans 1 summary. So you see here up there, we have the global Morans 1 summary by distance. So the autocorrelation by distance. So these are the information about the autocorrelation by distance. But down there, down here, we have also the same information. You see, we have more. This table is count. You see, count. It means the continuing means that we don't have two tables, but we have one table. And this table is the one which is displayed in this figure. So this data down here are the ones displayed in this figure. Then in case you think like this figure is not pretty for you, it's not beautiful, you can make your own figure based on the information given by in table below. Okay, then you see the information that were already provided about the first peak and the max peak. You see, they appear here. Like first peak, we appear around 22 kilometers and 30 to 30, let's say, yeah, with incremental 30, yeah, remember that we said 30, remember we said 30, the same here. Okay, down we can also find like incremental autocorrelation parameters, which are also explained. Let's have a look on these parameters. So, of course, this is about what we use to get the result. So, it is a kind of summary of the whole process. So, we input the data and then we input the field. This means the taxes. Then the number of distance band, we use 30. The one also that appear here, see this one, though they put some decimal, but 30. Then we also have this beginning in terms of distance, and then distance, distance increment here is, as it was taken by default, maybe according to the averaging, then it is 74. Then keep in mind that we use the Euclidean method. And then we didn't, we use standardization, yes or no? I'm not sure. So section set first according to standard deviation. Yes, this is the report about the incremental spatial correlation. Then you see that shows the correlation, in terms of distance and clustering. So this is the score showing the relation in terms of clustering and then by distance. So the more we go far away, the taxi we take far away, the more the correlation will decrease. Yeah, that's I think yes. So I was telling you that today we will focus on the average nearest neighbor, the high-low clustering, incremental spatial autocorrelation, and the spatial autocorrelation. So I think these four, You can also, if you are more curious, you can also discover what is inside multi-distance spatial cluster analysis. But the time is rushing. Maybe we will start by this one next time. But let's encourage each and everyone. Of course, this study was conducted on transportation, but I just encourage you people to get data from different fields, specifically guys who want to make studies on COVID-19 outbreak. You may need these tools. You may need spatial statistics tools. I warn you, just keep making exercise, just have data and then play with them with this different method. Then for guys who are maybe interested in business, also I encourage you guys to upload data from maybe for your country, for your region, for a city, and then specify what kind of analysis or study you want to conduct. Then in case you have any question, please don't be shy to ask. I'm always available. But last time I didn't give you a task. So today you have to do a task. I think I will add on my PPT so that later on you do the practice, but like homework, I will mention it on the PPT. So from the last lesson, where we analyze the hotspot and optimize the hotspot and the cluster about the gates and all, you can get your own data. I don't want you to use also this transportation data. Maybe go and look for any data, but make sure that those data are georeferenced, have learned that, okay? And make sure they are not a few. If you are using a few data, sometimes they give not a good result. It is better to, when you have more results, like more cases, and then make me a study of either your let's say you are analyzing the cases of COVID-19, people affected by the COVID, or people who just get well from the COVID, or people maybe who are vaccinated for COVID-19 per region or per province or per commune or per quota or per avenue. Anyway, just make sure to get more data about your study. For people who maybe work on a business, just focus on some data and then make a similar analysis using the hotspot analysis and using optimized hotspot, and then later on make average nearest neighbor, analyze the multi-distance spatial clustering if you want, and I want you to provide also the incremental spatial autocorrelation after making sure you have calculated the spatial autocorrelation. I will add it on the PPT, and I think Gerard will help me to share with you. Then I want you to do a homework about what I've been studying from the last session and today's session. So I can say, like, by today, this is enough for today. If there is any question just now, or you can ask it.
Okay, thank you so much, brother.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, if there's any question, please ask it. I said that today I gave you I gave those guys homework to be done. Just go look for their own data, either from transportation, either from COVID, either from business, and then make a similar analysis using hotspot and the average nearest neighbor. Maybe I will check it next time.
Okay, it's fine. Bye. So if there is no question, we can finish for tonight.
Yes. Thank you so much. I will share the PPT very soon.
Okay. I will. Okay, you will share, and I will send by email.
Yes. Thank you, and
okay. Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Good night.
The same.
So much.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you.